morning, my dear students. Grade 5, how are you today, my heroes? Today, inshallah, we're going to revise revised lesson 13.1, order of operation, 12.1, analyze line plots, 12.2, making line plots. Okay, my dear? Don't forget, we have 3 lessons according to the submitted pointers. According to the submitted pointers, we have 3 lessons. What are they? 3.1, 12.1, 12.2. Okay, I'm going to start with 13.1, order of operation. It's a very easy lesson, but at first we have to remember the concept of numerical expression. Numerical expression is a mathematical phrase involving numbers and operations. Again, numerical expression is a mathematical phrase involving numbers and operations. Expression here don't contain an equal sign. Don't contain an equal sign. Just you're making translation from words, letters into mathematical sentence, numbers and signs, and yes. Okay. So here, the order of operations is the order in which operations are done in calculating numerical expression. When we have a mathematical phrase, there are different ways to solve it, and may also you have final answer in different ways. So to get all the same answer, we have to follow the order of operations. Okay, step number 1, do operations inside parentheses first from inside to outside. So you are going to finish the brackets first. The first thing you have to do is to finish the brackets from inside to outside. Don't forget the direction from inside to outside. So the first thing in the order of operation, brackets first. May I ask you in the exam today, I will give you a mathematical sentence with brackets and asking you not to evaluate the expression, but what is the first step you have to start? You have to start with brackets from inside to outside. Step number 2, multiply and divide. So the priority here, the first one will be multiply and then divide. This is in order from left to right. So when we have in the same sentence or in the same statement, multiplication sign and division sign, we have to start from left to right with what? From left to right with multiply and divide. The priority for multiplication first before division. Okay, my dear? Okay. Now, step number 3, add and subtract in order from left to right. So adding and subtracting in the same sentence, the priority will be for adding first, then subtracting. Sure, parentheses or brackets are first. So first thing you have to do is to finish the brackets from inside to outside. The second step, multiply and divide from left to right. The third one, add and subtract in order from left to right also. So don't forget that and be ready and concentrate on the question. He asks you about what? He asks you about the steps or to evaluate. Try to take care and differentiate between that in today's quiz. Pay attention, please. Okay, let's see. Here is the first example. Which operation you should perform first in the expression? We have 2 by 2 plus 3 divided 3 by 5. This is a mathematical expression you will find in the exam. We have in the same statement multiplication sign adding sign and division sign and multiplication also sign. So at first, we have to finish what? We have to start with what? This is my question. You should start first with what? With multiplication, with addition, or division? What you are going to start with? Sure, here your answer will be multiply 2 and 2. Why? Because we start from left to right. This is first. And the priority here for multiplication more than addition and also more than division. So you are going to start with multiply 2 and 2. Multiply 2 and 2. This is from left to right, and the priority here for multiplication. Don't forget that. Someone will start with adding. Is incorrect. Division, incorrect. You have order of operation and you have to follow to get the same answer for all students in a correct way. Okay, my dear. So the answer of question number 1, multiply 2 and 2. Let's see question number 2 here. Also, which operation you should perform first in the expression 56 divided 8 plus 3 plus 2 between brackets multiply 2. We said if we have brackets inside the statements, we have to finalize it first. So I'm going to start here with what? Yes, by finalizing the operation inside the brackets first. When we handle the brackets, we have to start with the operation inside, from inside to outside. Okay, my dear? So in this statement, I'm going to start with what? Sure, adding 3 by 3 plus 2. Okay. So this is the answer. Why, Mr. Walid, the priority here for division from left to right? My dear, I told you from first. Finish what? Finish the brackets first. Finish the brackets first. Okay? Okay. Let's also go ahead. Question number 3. In question number 3, which operation you should perform first in this expression? 4 plus 6 divided 3 by 1. I want you all to concentrate on this example. 4 plus 6 divided 3 by 1. Okay. I'm going here to start with what? I have addition, division, and multiplication in the same line or in the same statement. So I'm going to start from left to right. Why? Because I didn't have any brackets, so I'm not going to start with brackets first. So I'm going to start with dividing 6 by 3. Mr. Walid, the priority here must be for multiplication before division. But here we start from left to right. So the first operation here will be 6 divided 3, or divide 3 and 6. Okay. Try to record the question and the answer and the way how to solve, how to ask, and how to get the answer. Okay. This is the first section of the order of operation. Now I'm going to move to another section in our lesson, which is to evaluate the expression. And the word evaluate here means to get the final answer of evaluation. So we are going here to see the next example. Find the value of each expression. Yes, the first one between brackets, 3 plus 2 multiplied 6 minus 12 divided 6. 3 plus 2 divided 6. Okay. The first thing you have to do here is what? Is to finish the brackets. The brackets say 3 plus 2. So this is the first step in my solution. 3 plus 2 equal 5. Then to drop each item or the remainder items inside the statement as it is. 3 plus 2 equal 5. Okay, 5 by 6 minus 12 divided 6. 5 by 6 minus 12 divided 6. Okay. I finished the brackets first, 3 plus 2 equal 5, and drop the remainder elements as it is. Drop 6 as it is, minus 12 as it is, divided 6 as it is, with the same signs. Okay, so this is the first step finished. The second one will be, yes, I have multiplication from left to right, and subtraction and division in the same line. So I'm going to start from left to right, and the priority here for multiplication, I'm going to multiply 5 by 6 to get 30. Then 30 subtracted 2 will be 28 as a final answer. So my expression here will be 28. Don't forget writing the sign of subtraction between 30 and 2. 30 minus 2, or 2 subtracted from 30, equal 28. This is the evaluation of the expression or the value of each expression. Okay, my dear? Okay. Let's move to another example here. 24 divided between brackets 3 plus 1 multiply 2. Okay, well, mentioned at first to start with finishing the brackets first. And we have here complicated one without two operation inside the brackets. Okay, I'm going to start from inside to outside. Inside this bracket, the first one will be 3 plus 1. The first brackets inside will be 3 plus 1. Okay, 3 plus 1 equal 4. And drop 2 as it is. And drop the two brackets as they are. Also drop 4 divided as it is. Then drop 24 divided as it is here, and finish the brackets. 4 by 2 equal 8. Then finish the last operation. 24 divided 8 equal 3. 24 divided 8 equal 3. Try to copy the answer and be ready to example the second section in our lesson, line plot, how to make line plot, how to analyze line plot, everything about line plot in lesson 12.2. Make a line plot and analyze it, and try to answer the question about line plots. This will be the second section in our revision today, but first copy the answer of this one and be ready. Okay, we revise here 12.2 inside the following section. Okay, a line plot. We have two lessons on line plot, 12.1 and 12.2. 12.2. 12.1 is talking about analyze line plots. And 12.2 also is how to make a line plots. So we're going to talk with everything about line plot now. Let's start by some information about line plot, about the two lessons. A line plot shows data along a number line. You represented some data on a number line by making what? By making bold dots, X symbols, and each dot or X symbol you are going to select will represent a value over the line number. So you are going to collect information. This information is called data. Okay. Each dot in a line plot represented one value in a data set, as I told you. So I will give you a data set, and you are going to count the values and represent each value by a number of dots over its number on the number line. This is how to make line plot and represent the data on it. If a number is much greater or less than the rest of the numbers in the data set, that number is called outlier. Outlier, okay, is a number is much greater or less than the rest of the numbers in the data set. That number is called an outlier. You will find it alone on the left or alone on the right, whether it's smaller or bigger. Okay, so now we are ready. How to define the line plot? Line plot shows data along a number line. This data collected, or this information collected, is called data. Each dot on the line plot represents one value in data set. The number much greater or less than the rest of the numbers is called what? Yes, outlier. Okay, my dear. Let's move to the next slide. The table and the line plot shows the time that the students spend on homework last week. So where is the table? This is the table. The time they spent on homework in hours. 4.5 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, 4.5, 5.25, 5.5, 5, 4 and 3 over 4, 5 and 3 over 4, and 4 and 3 over 4, 5 and 1 over 4, 5, 4 and 3 over 4, and 5. This is the raw material or the data set given for you. Where is the number line? This is the number line. You are going to draw the number line and represent one value on it. So for example, here we have 3 repeated value of 4.75. How many 4.75 do we have here? 3 values. Each one will be represented by bolded dots over 3 over 4. So I'm going to collect the data first and select one of them to write or to be written on the line number first. Okay, as you see. Then count the number of repetition and represent them over each one. For example, here 4.5. How many 4.5 do we have in the table? 2 values. So I'm going to represent them by 2 bolded dots. How many 4.75 do we have? Select them from the table. 1. Here is 1, 2, and this is the third one. 3 dots here over the line number. How many 5s do we have in the table? 1, 2, this is the third, 3. Okay. How many 5.25 Yes, this is one. Yeah, where is the second? This one. So we have just only two. 5.5. Yes, just one. 5 3/4. Yes, just one. Okay, what about six? How many six do we have? Two consecutive cells here equal 6, 1, 2. So I'm going to draw two bold dots over the value of 6. How many sevens do we have? Just one. Here it is. Okay, now my line number is ready and I represented all the plots that given in the table. So let's answer the question given on this line plot through the graph. Okay, I'm still in the same line number with the same plots, and I'm going to answer the first question. The first question here say, how many students spent exactly 5 hours on homework last week? Where is 5 hours? It is the third value here, and they represented by 3 bolded dots. It means what? It means 3 students. It means 3 students. So here, how many students spend exactly 5 hours on homework last week? 3 students. Okay, 3 students. Okay, my dear. I get 3 students from where? From the graph in front of you. Where is 5 hours? This line number represents the number of hours. Each value on this line number represents the number of hours. So 5 hours represented by 3 bolded dots. So each dot represents 1 student. So we have 3 students that spent exactly 5 hours on their homework last week. Okay. Question number 2. The same line plot with the same values. And the question here, question number 2, how many students spend 5 or fewer? It means less than 5. 5 or fewer hours on homework last week. We said spend 5 just only, and now he asked for 5 or fewer. It means 5 hours, the value of 5 plus who spend less than 5, just like 4 3/4 or 4.5. So we have 3 students spend 5 hours. Less than 5, 4 3/4, also 3 students. So 3 plus 3 equals 6. Also, we have 2 students spend 4.5. So 6 plus 2 will equal 8 students. So from where I get 8 students, I selected this area here. 3 plus 3 plus 2. 3 plus 3 plus 2. Because he said 5 or fewer, 5 or less, 5 or less. Okay, my dear? Okay. So the total number here, 5 or less will be, or 5 or fewer will be 8 students. Let's see the third question on the same line plot. How many students spend more than 5? Oh, more than 5 hours on homework last week? It's too hard, Mr. Walid. Why it's too hard? Start from the value of 5, from point number 5. How many students do we have? 3. And move in the right direction, adding the number of students until you finish the line plot in front of you. So we have 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1. Where are they? This is 5, and this is, or more than 5. Okay, so we have here, yes, I heard you all say 7 students. Where are they? Okay, start here, more than 5. He said more than 5. Where are the more than 5? 5.5, 1. Okay, sorry, 5 1/4, 2, plus 5.5, 1, 2 plus 1 equals 3, plus 1, 5 3/4, 4, plus 2 for 6 hours, 6 plus 1 here for 7 hours, all will be 7 students. Okay, this is how to answer through the line plot. Try to concentrate on the phrase he given, the statement he gave for you. He said more than 5, not 5 or more, because here we didn't select the value of 5 with us. It is not included in the statement because they say more than 5. It means 5.25, 5.5, 5 3/4. Mr. Walid, why we didn't select 5 here? Because he didn't say or. He just need the number of students who spend more than 5 hours on the homework last week. Okay. Let's see question number 4 on the same line plot. Which 2 times spent on the homework occur most often? Yes. You will find that we have 2 bolded or 2 time most repeated. The large number of line plots represented over 5 3/4. That means what? That means this is the most often values occurred in the line plot. So which 2 times spent on homework occurred most often? 3, 4 and 3/4 and 5 hours. Why? Because they have the largest number of bolded dots over each one. You see them? This one represented by 3, this one represented by 3. This is the highest value, the highest number of bolded dots we have. So they repeated most often. So they exist or occurred most often. Okay. Question number 5. Is there an outlier in the data? If so, what is it? Yes, you will find the outlier here in this data or in this line plot. I told you it will be alone, away on the line plot. So we have here 1. Yes, we have outlier. What is it? It's number 7. Okay, number 7. This is the outlier. Open page 705 and read the title of our lesson today. Make line plots. After writing the date of today at the top of the page, start read again our title of the lesson, Making Line Plots. So in this lesson, we're going to learn a new concept. First, you have to know what is the frequency. This is a new concept you are going to learn today. Frequency is how many times a given value occurred. Frequency is how many times a given value occurred. For example, if we have some raw materials arranged in a line, in a table, in any way, you are going to count the number of repetition of certain value. This is the frequency. How many times this value occurred, this is the frequency, okay? So I hope this concept is clear for you at first. So, dear, what is your mission today? We have 2 missions. Your mission is to draw line plot and observe and answer. So you have 2 missions. The first one is to draw line plots, how to draw it. The second one
is to observe this line plot you are going to draw and answer the question given on the shape, okay? So let's start mission number 1. Mission number 1, you are going to learn how to draw the line plots. How? Let's see. In page 705, solve and share question. Step number 1, you will find a board. On this board, there are a lot of values are written on this board. You are going to read and focus each value, okay? Then, this is step number 1, to focus each value in each line and read them all. Step number 1, before drawing, you have to arrange them ascending. So the arrangement statement will be 50, just 150. You will have more than 150, select just one value, okay? 50, 50 and a half, 52, 55, 58 and a half, and 60. Why we arranged all these values? Because of, sure, step number 2. In step number 2, you are going to determine the least value. What is it? It's 50, yes. The least value in the data set to be start or to be as a start point, and do the same with the maximum value. What is the maximum value in your data set? Yes, I heard you. You say yes, 60. To be the last point in your drawing. This is step number 2. Concentrate with me. This is the steps how to draw a line plots. Okay? So let's see step number 3. After reading and determine the maximum point and the minimum point, the start point and the end point, you are going to draw the line number. After drawing the line number, you are going to divide it with the appropriate way according to the given value in data set. For example, here, you are going to divide it in 1, 2, again here, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Then write the value you have just arranged. For example, here, 50, here is 50 and a half. 51, 51 and a half. 52, 52 and a half. 53, 53 and a half. 54, 54 and a half. 55, 55 and a half, and so on until you reach 60. So I draw, divide, and write the value of each part, okay? This is the appropriate way in this example, okay? Then, step number 4. Let's see. Again, or back again to the data set and count how many times a given value occurred, as you will see in the following slide. So, for example, here is 55. How many times of repetition in all data set? Let's see. Count the number of frequency for each value. For example, 50 repeated 2 times, 50 and a half repeated 6 times, 52 repeated 2 times, 55 repeated 6 times, 58 and a half repeated 2 times, and 60 repeated 2 times. What about these dots, Mr. Walid? These bold dots will help you to represent each number of repetition, each frequency. So when we have 2 times, represented by 2 bold dots. When we have 6 times, we represented by 6 bold dots, and so on. Okay? Step number 5. Represent the frequency you count over each value by bold dots. As I told you, you are going to handle with the line number you draw like that. Where is 50? This is the first point, yeah. So you are going to start how many times of repetition, how many frequency of 50? Just 2. Okay, now what about 50 and a half? 50 and a half, I think, repeated 6 times. This is 2, another 2, another 2. So the total number is 6 fold dots represented 50 and a half. Okay, what about 52? Repeated 2 times, Mr. Walid. Yes, I'm going to represent them by 2 folded dots. What about here? 54. 54 and a half, I'm sorry. Yeah, 6 also. 58 and a half, just 2. 60, just 2. So that's it. How to represent and make line floats as you draw, as you see in the 5 steps. This will help you easy to handle any line plot you want to draw, okay? Let's see visual learning on topic 12.2, make line plots. Please listen it from personal line. You will find it submitted in the assignment today. Please listen for it carefully and back again. So after finishing mission number 1, I think we have to start mission number 2. Yeah. Mission number 2, you are going to observe and answer. Observe and answer what, Mr. Walid? Let's see. Time of independent breaks. Let's see. In question number 1, in page 707, I'm sorry, we started with point number 4 in independent breaks, okay, which say in 4 and 5 complete the line plots, the line plot for each data set. Number 4, here is 11 and a quarter, 12 and a half, 11 and a quarter, 14 3/4, and 10 and a half, 11 quarter, and 12. So he helped you sure and make it easy by drawing the number line and divide it and put the value under each point. So what you are going to do is to determine the frequency of each point. For example, I'm going to start with the least one here. I think it is 10 and a half. Okay, 10 and a half. Where's 10 and a half? It's sure between 10 and 11. So how many times of repetition here? Just 1. So this area between 10 and 11, this one, you see? Please focus on the arrow. The mouse arrow here refers to 10 and a half, which repeat just 1 time. So the frequency equal 1. So I'm going to draw just 1 bolded dot over what? Over 11 half. Okay, now let's move to a larger value, which is 11 and quarter. Yes, I heard you. 11 and quarter, I think it's repeated more than 1 time. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to represent 11 and a quarter in this dash by 3 bolded dots. Why we didn't draw this 3 bolded dots over 11? Because we represent 11 and 1/4. So I have to move between 11 and 12. So just 1 part over 11 and draw 3 bolded dots over it. So the second one will be 12. I didn't have in the problem here or in the statement here just 12 as a whole number. I have here 12 and a half, okay, repeated just 1 time. Yes. Okay, now 12 and a half finished. Is there anything else in our problem? Yes. Let's see. 12 and a half here. Okay. We said 12 and a half. So here I represented 12 just one time, just one, pull the dot over it, and 12 and a half just one time, one dot represented by one dot. Okay, now where is the last value I'm going to represent? It's 14 and 3/4, and it's repeated just one time. So I'm going to count 3/4 over 4. Sure, it's in the distance between 14 and 15. Okay, 14 and 15, the distance between them. I'm going to add 3 parts over 4. So this dash represent 14 and 3/4 by 1 hold dot over it. Let's move for question number 5. 1 and 1 over 8, 2, 1 and a half, 1 and a quarter, 1 and 1 over 8, 1, 2, 1 and a half, 1 and 1/4. So in this question, I'm going to select the least value we have here. Here is 1. Is there any number of repetition for 1 as a whole number? No, necessarily just 1. So I'm going to represent it by 1 dot over. Okay. The second value, more than 1, it will be 1 and 1 over 8. How many 1 and 1 over 8 we have in the statement? Count them, please. Here is 1 and here is 2. So I'm going to represent the frequency by 2 dots over 1 and 8. Okay. The following one will be 1 and 1 over 4. How many 1 and 1 over 4 we have in our statement here? Just 2. Here is 1 and here is the second one. Okay. So I'm going to draw 2 pull the dots over 1 and 1/4. Okay. Now the following one will be 1 and a half. This one. How many 1 and a half do we have? Count them, please. 1, 2. Okay, I'm going to draw 2, pull the dots over. Okay. So the following one, or the last one, will be the largest value, will be the end point. The end point repeat 2 times. Here is 1, and here is the second one. Okay, 1, 2. So I'm going to write just 2. Okay, we finished the first section in independent practice. Now with the second one. In 6 and 7, construct a line plots. It means to draw a line plot for each data set. So first, you have to draw the line number and determine, without repetition, determine the value over the line number without repetition. Okay, so when we have, for example, repeated value just like 1 and 1, 2 ones, select just one value from them and write it under the line number. Okay, sure, have repeated 2 times, I'm going to select just one to write. After that, I'm going to determine the frequency for each value and start from the least one to the greatest one. So I heard you, yes, I'm going to start with 0, my hero, yeah, my hero, concentrate with me. Listen, please, pay more attention. 0 repeated here just 1 time. So I'm going to write it here, select 1 to write and represent by 1x over 0 because the frequency just 1 time. Okay, now what is the value more than 0 ascending? Sure, it's half. How many halves do we have in the statement? Yes, 3 times. Where are they? This is the first one, and this is the second, and this is the third one. So we represented it by 3x's over. Okay, now 3/4 represented by 3x because the frequency equals 3. Where are they? 1, 2, 3. Okay, the last one. Sure, but its name is 1, and it is the last one. Okay, so it's repeated 2 times. So it will be represented by 2x's. Okay, now on page, in question number 7, draw the number line and write the value under each dash. After arranging the value ascending, you will start with the least one. The least one is 5. How many fives do we have in the statement? Select them all. Count them all. Count all 5, just 5 as a whole number, without any fraction, without any decimal, without anything. 5 as a whole. How many times do we have? Just 2. Okay, I'm going to draw 2x's over this item, over this point, 2x's. Okay, now the second one will be 5 and 1 over 8. How many 5 and 1 over 8 in the statement? Count them, please, carefully. Okay, I see, I heard you. Yes, 5 and 1 over 8 repeated 2 times. Where are they? This is 1 and this is the second one. Okay, so I'm going to represent by 2x's over 5 and 1 over 8. Okay, now the following value will be 5 and 1 quarter. 5 and 1 quarter just repeated 1 time because I didn't find it even in the statement, just 1. Okay, so I'm going here to draw just 1x over 5 and 1 over 4. The following one will be 5 and 3 over 8. How many 5 and 3 over 8 we have in the statement? Search, focus, think, answer. Yes, just 1 time. Here, Mr. Walid. Here is 5 and 3 over 8. Just 1. Okay, I'm going to write just 1x over the value. Okay, the following one will be 5 and a half. Oh, we have a lot here, Mr. Walid. I think here is 1, 5 and a half. The second one, 5 and a half. The third one, 5 and a half. So it's repeated 3 times. 5 and a half repeated 3 times. Okay. Okay. Now, 5 and 3 quarter. Frequency equal 1. I'm going to write just 1 over. So we finish our independent breaks and move to word problem or math practice and problem solving. Please be ready with me and pay more attention. Okay, here is in problem solving page number 708, question number 11. Read the question carefully, complete the sentence, use one of the words below. Line plot, data, outlier. A between brackets N space. It means here you are going to select one of these 3 words as answer. Yes, A between brackets N space is a value that is very different from other values in data set. If you remember and refresh your mind from the last lesson, I said it is outlier. Okay, just
This will be the end of our revision today. I'm going to open the participation for all students in our revision today just only. If you have a confusion in any slide from those I explained, please raise your hand if you need help in this lesson. If you need help in another lessons or anything, you can contact me privately on WhatsApp today. I will be with you and I will make everything easy to be ready for the quiz today, inshallah. So if you need help in the revision today, just raise your hand and determine the number of the slide or the number of the question, and I will explain it for you.